The people are in exile. All that list of names poor Piggy had to read is a long way of saying we used to have these people who are connected to, and now our culture is blown apart. We're all over the place, and you're not really our leaders anymore. You are in exile. These people understand what Barbara Brown Taylor says in our meditation text, that she has been lost in more ways than she can possibly count. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The prophet advises that they stop fighting the prospect of getting or being lost and engage in being lost as a spiritual practice. Exactly what Taylor says. What does the prophet want us to do when we get lost? We are to build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat what they produce. Please note, all my fellow activists, that this is a prophet giving very personal advice. We are not to change the world so much as to learn to live domestically beautiful lives in it. We are not bad if we are not changing the world. The world is not a giant home improvement project. We are to build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat what they produce. We are to encourage the generations to come, even if they have to come into a world that is still in exile. I've already told you this morning at 1:30, my first grandson broke the womb and came out after Warren and Katie and I played 14 hours straight of gin rummy in a small room. But let me try to connect my personal drama to this text, because I think it connects. We weren't really doing much of important playing gin rummy and being useless and sitting around, but we were encouraging the next generation. That's all we were doing. We were being useful whenever we encourage the next generation. Again, as Piercy says, we're to hitch our ox up. You could say that differently. Hitch our ox up to a heavy cart and move this generational thing on, even if we're in exile. Even if there is a chance our grandson will live to 2110, and we will then have to say, wow, what did we give you? Did we give you bad produce, the chance to get a bad tomato any time of day in any grocery store in any season in the city? Is that what we left you? Did we lose Long Island while you were growing up? Or Florida? Who was Hiram Montserrat, Grandma? Was it true that men used to beat women up back then? Was it true that people ate that kind of food? Was it true that they had wars like that? What was AIDS, Grandma? How did they finally figure out how to cure it? Even when you're in exile, the generations are moving on. And when you think about the prophet telling you what to do in exile, the prophet really says it's right there. Build a house, live in it, plant a garden, eat its produce, and have your kids go off and create more generations. I've had a couple of near brushes with death in my life. Very simple ones, nothing dramatic, but real enough to get my attention. Each time, my real fear is I'd never have a grandchild. I'd had a great life, but oh my gosh, never to have a grandchild. And each time I was wrong. I cannot tell you my joy at this error of mine. What are we to do? brushing with death or brushing with life. Live, build, find water for our pitcher, carts for our ox. We are to be of use. Now here at Judson, we create and massage and ritualize the spiritual content of intermediate institutions. It's not much, just a little piece. Like lawyers over time help us love the law, and doctors over time help us love medicine, and teachers help us to love ideas, and waitresses and chefs help us to love food, and garbage trucks help us to keep the streets clear. We have this little job in this big world. We do this because others gave a great pledge to the future when they bought this corner and harnessed this real estate. The reason I love parish ministry so very, very much is that from my little perch, I get a multifaceted view. I can look inner and outer. I can look back and forward any given moment. I get to do the memorial service of a person the size of Marilyn Clement yesterday. That's where these flowers are from. And later there was a wedding. That's where some of the other flowers are from. We hatch, match, and dispatch. And then on Sunday morning we think, what florist put that combination together up there? And how many of them are dead and how many of them are alive? Well, there it is. This is our life. We have this very private life where we live beautifully and privately and extravagantly and aesthetically with our own intimates. And simultaneously, note how that text ends, we are also at the very same time to seek, not assure, but seek the welfare of the city, for it is in the welfare of the city that we will find our welfare. The very source of our welfare is the city. So many congregations are privatized, and what privatized congregations sell is privacy well protected. Some congregations you can't even say anything somebody might not like because it's just not nice, and it's not done there. Here, your leaders get contradicted fully and often. Here, we do not sell privacy so much as a bridge between our private lives and our public lives. And our product, if you want a product for your pledge, is that bridge. And on that bridge, we seek the simultaneous, intimate and collective public and private meaning of these matters. Because our welfare is in the welfare of the city, which is simultaneous and one.